Honda Mike here. Today I had to do a head gasket on this 3.2 liter J Series Honda motor. This is the 3.2, but as you can see, I had to do the head gaskets. I had to replace the head gaskets on it. But I figured I would make a little how-to video on setting the timing on these. It's very easy, but there's a lot of questions. A lot of people don't know how to set it, so I figured I'd try to help some people out. Let's start off with this cam here. As you can see, you got number 1, number 6, 3, and so on and so on. And what you want to do is take this number 1 and turn it. It actually turns counterclockwise until this little notch right above it on your tooth lines up with the notch on the backing plate. And by the way, the numbers on here are for setting your valve lash. If you want to set your valve lash here, you just spin it to the number. The plastic, there's actually a piece of plastic plate that goes over it, plastic cover. It has a little pop tab. You pop the tab out and you can actually see the number when you spin your cam to it. And once you get to that number, you go to that piston and set your valve lash. But we'll talk about that maybe next time. But okay, so line this little mark up with the backing plate mark. Same thing with the back cam. It's not numbered, but it does. Let's see if I can get a little light in there to show you. You can see that little line. It's kind of hard to balance my phone here. Oh, I'm falling everywhere. Yep, there it is. You see a little mark on this cam. There's only one mark on it. Well, that mark goes up to another mark up here. You can't really see it, but you want to line that mark up with the mark on the backing plate also. That little mark there. Now once you get both of those lined up, you want to come down below, go to your crankshaft pulley. As you can see, there's a little triangle here. You may have to clean it off. It's like mine. It's super greasy, super dirty. It's from a leak, obviously, which we fixed. What? And there's another triangle right here. 2 little triangles. You want those 2 teeth to line up. You want this tooth to line up with the little triangle. Bam! Right there. It's beautiful. But in the process of doing that, you also need to take this off. This right here is your hydraulic tensioner for your pulley, for your belt. This needs to come off. It's 2 10mm bolts. You take it off. If you don't have a new one, as you can see, there's a little hole right there in the little cylinder that comes out of it. There's a little hole right here. You have to compress that, preferably with a vise. I didn't have a vise, so I had to kind of work with what I had. Got my 3-ton jack and put it underneath the car and use the weight of the car to push it in. But you got to be careful, because believe it or not, that little tiny cylinder there has a lot of pressure, and it will actually pick your car up, because it did it. You can use like a little Allen head. That's what I use, a small Allen head to go in the hole, line the holes up, and keep that in there until you get your belt on and get this tightened back down. Then you can pull your pin. But when you install your belt, what you're going to want to do is start from your bottom. You want to run it up this side to the right here to your front cam, keeping it tight all the way around. Keep it tight. Run it underneath here, run it over, back down. This should be your slack side down here. This is going to be your slack side until you pull that pin out of there. Once you pull that pin, it's going to put tension back on this belt, and you're not going to be able to adjust it at all. You're going to have to take the hydraulic tensioner back off. Now, once you get your marks lined up, you can get 19mm. That's what this is right here. This pulley bolt. It's a 19mm, and you should be able to do 2 full rotations on it, and your marks, if your timing's set right, your marks should line up. So let's give it a shot. Alright, that's one. You see those two marks are lined up again. Let's see if you come up here. You're not lined up. You're lined up with the opposite. This is your opposite, 5. See, the other one's down here. But remember, we want to be lined up with 1. This is 5. And if you come over here, this mark's not lined up at all. You can't see it anyways, but it's not. Spin it around one more time. Those marks lined up again. Almost there. Just a little tap. Alright, there we go. Now, as you can see, they're lined up again by those little indicators. If we are in time, then we should be lined back up with 1. See the notch is lined up again with the backing plate. And I'll try to show you this so much you're not going to be able to see it. But it'd be nice if you just took my word for it. It's lined up. And that's all there is to setting the timer on these J Series 3.2, 3.0, 3.5. They're all the same. Timing extremely easy. So I hope this video helps somebody out, and I might come back for the valve lash adjustment, which I'm not doing on this one, but I might do it for you. Have fun.